Hi guys, this is the advisor and welcome back to my channel. Now today we are going to revisit the most horrific crime scene ever seen in the history of Jamaica. This crime scene in which 7 young men between the ages of 15 and 20 were shot and killed by the police in Jamaica. A lot of people might know it as Braeton or the Braeton incident. But if you go and search for the Braeton incident, you won't find it. Or the Braeton massacre, you won't find it. But if you search for the Braeton 7, which is kind of a misnomer, but you would have to look up Braeton 7, and then you would find this story comes up. Dozens of stories regarding this matter, both the incident itself and the aftermath of the incident and the incidents which preceded this Braeton 7 incident, which I refer to it as a massacre because anytime 7 human beings are shot and killed inside a two-bedroom house, and all of them were shot in the head and other parts of their body, but all of them got shot in the head. And all of them got several bullets to the head, along with other bullets in other parts of their bodies. So this is a clear case of extrajudicial killing by the police. But I'm calling it a massacre, and I'm saying extrajudicial killing, and that's just for the sake of this conversation. Because in truth and in fact, under the law, the policemen who were involved were found not guilty, and therefore it is considered justifiable homicide. So therefore, it was not a massacre if you look on it in the strictest term, and it was not extrajudicial killings, strictly speaking. But for the purposes, intents and purposes of this particular video, we're going to call it a massacre and call it extrajudicial killing. Now, for those who have never heard, because guys, for all of you Jamaicans who understand Braeton, this is not necessarily the part that is going to excite you. But remember that I have got overseas viewers and my foreign viewers who have never heard of the Braeton incident or the Braeton 7. They will want to know how the story went. I will begin this story on March 1st, 2001, when some hoodlums, 2 hoodlums in particular, they went into a police station at a place named Above Rocks in St. Andrew. And it was right on the border up with St. Catherine. Rural area, just farmers on the hillside, a place where nothing ever happens. And basically it was a small police station, like an outpost, so it was, the atmosphere up there was quite relaxed. Gunmen raided the station. At the time when they went there, only one police, it is believed, was at the station, and that he was on station guard duty. Other police were on duty at the time, but they were elsewhere. Maybe gone on patrols, gone to issue summons or whatever. But he was there alone. And what happened is that the men went in, killed the policeman, took his firearm, tried to open the safe with other guns, and they couldn't get it open because what happened, they saw another man coming in. This man was a retired customs officer named Dennis Braeton, and he was just coming in to do some business with the police. And when the guys saw him coming in, they just shot him dead right on the entrance of the police station. Realizing now that bullets had been fired on the outside, which would arouse suspicion, they decided not to stay to open the safe. So they went into a car and they left. On the way out of the station, past the man that they just shot, they saw people on the street. There was a woman coming with her daughter and 4-month-old baby, and They shot her and they shot another lady. The other lady died, but the one who was carrying the 4-month-old baby and walking beside her daughter, her life was spared. She got a shot in the shoulder, but she lived. Following that incident, the police went on the hunt for these gunmen. Now, let's forward to March 13th, same 2001, which was what, 13 days later, following this incident with the shooting of the policeman and the other people. Gunmen went on the rampage again, and this school principal, Keith Morris, he was stopped at a place to buy jerk chicken, and they went up to him, robbed him, and shot him dead in his car before he could even get out. This is a principal of a school who has everything, decent, upstanding citizen, who has everything going for him, and they just killed him and emptied his pockets just like that. Now, acting on good intelligence, the police got some lowdown on. They went and they picked up a man in another area, in the Shortwood area, and went and picked up another man who they knew could give them the location of these men who had done, because they had reason to link the two set of crimes together. And it led them to this house in Braeton, and in the aftermath, all 7 males who were inside, the only occupants, they were all shot dead. The demise came just hours after they had killed the principal, because the principal died on the night of March 13th, and in the wee hours of March 14th, the house was raided, and we know the outcome. There were credible witnesses who testified that the killing started in the 4 a.m., early 4 a.m. bells, and continued up until 8 o'clock. And the men were systematically, the males were systematically executed between that time and about little after 8 o'clock. And during those hours, time and time again, after it's like they were executed not all at once, but like every 20 minutes, one life was taken among those who were still alive after the initial round of shots. Neighbors, people who live close to next door to the incident, can remember hearing the guys screaming and begging for their lives and calling out to their neighbors and asking them to come save them, and asking the police, pleading with the police not to kill them. And on each occasion, their pleadings and screamings were cut short by bullets and then silence. Then it started again. Somebody had started screaming, shouting for help, calling out to neighbors, asking not to die. Then gunshots, then silence. So by about 8 o'clock or little after 8, they started taking the bodies out one by one. I mean, no, they were not like, they were all dumped in a police jeep on the floor and taken to the morgue in Spanish Town. Following the incident, 4 guns were recovered. One of the guns were identified as the police service revolver that was taken from Constable Dwight Gibson, the late Constable Dwight Gibson, who was shot and killed in at the Above Rock station. Subsequently, in months to come, it was also found out that bullets from one of those 4 guns were found inside the teacher, the school principal's body. So, clear evidence that these men were nefarious creatures who were up to no good. But, was it justified? Was it justified? What happened to these 7 young men. In my opinion, yes, it was 100% justified. Some people may say, but the 7 of them couldn't be using 4 guns. I agree, 100% agree. But let me tell you something. 7 men in a house by themselves, that is a big red flag right there. You can't have a group of men, and we are hearing that this house was used as a base, where sometimes up to 12 to 15 youths, depends on the day or the night, men were just hanging out there. So to me, it was just a layer for gunmen. Regarding these 7 lives that were taken, to me, you can't have men hanging out at a house on a regular basis unless they are up to nefarious activities. Either that or they are grinding each other's rump. And so far, there's no evidence that they were. Some people may say, but there was also a 15-year-old student who weren't there. As a matter of fact, 3 of the 7 were actually students. One was going to Jaggers and one was going to the Heart Training Center. One of the 19-year-old, I think. But let me tell you guys something. That 15-year-old, I shed no tear for him, and nobody should shed any tear for him. We have a saying in Jamaica, you lie with dogs, you rise with fleas. What is a 15-year-old youth doing at the house of a group of men? For what? And sleeping over? Sleep over? That's you were there at 4 a.m., which means you had been there from the night before at the age of 15? Something is wrong with that picture. First of all, at the age of 15, he doesn't belong outside of his house after 6 o'clock. I hear that the mother of this 15-year-old youth was telling everybody that he went over there to do homework. So you can't do homework at your yard. You have to go to a group of long-seed men to do homework. And okay, you leave your school over by 3:30, you may reach home by 4:30. You are supposed to be in your house by 6 o'clock at the age of 15. Not that you should have even left your house unless your parents had sent you. And if your child was at anybody's home except a family member's home after 6, then believe me, you're a careless parents. Unless you are designated them as the child's guardians or something like that. At 15 years old, that 15-year-old boy, he should have been tied up around your draw's waist, of the mother's draw's waist. He should have been tied, and for you in England, he should have been tied around the waist of his mother's knickers. As far as I'm concerned, he is a gunman wannabe. Is either he's a right-out gunman or he's a gunman in training. And therefore, he heard Samora Machel said in 1978 or 1979, he said, you kill the alligator when it's in the egg. And it's easier to kill. And most of these gunmen who are killing in these day and age just started killing from the age of 12, 13. So he, at 14, being tutored and being initiated into the criminal world at the age of 15, that's quite normal. And you get rid of him from now. Every single one of them in that house deserve what they get, to be judicially executed. And here is why. I shed tears for innocent people. Nobody who clown with gunmen is innocent. There's no such thing as an innocent people who clown with gunmen. You go around gunmen and you go around thieves because you're either one of them or you want to be one of them. You're either learning the trade or have already learned the trade and is now in the execution stage of carrying out what you already know. I feel that Jamaica's crime rate would have been much higher for the year 2001 if these men had not been dispatched when they were. And here is why they are not innocent. It is an indisputable fact that the dead policeman's gun was found at the house. Who carried it there? Must have been the men who dispatched the poor policeman. Fine. But why dirt all of them? Well, I've already explained that. It is believed in Jamaica, according to statistics, that most gunmen do an average of 4 murders per year. 4 murders on average, and that's the lower average. So if these 7 had been left to their own devices for the rest of 2001, they would have dispatched a minimum of 28 people in 2001. And if they were around until now for the next 10 years, how much people would that be? In 10 years, between those 7, they would have dispatched 280 people. So think of the amount of lives that these honorable policemen saved. These men are heroes. What these policemen has done is what is known as preemptive strike. Preemptive strike is when you take 1 stitch and save 9 stitch. A stitch in time saves 9. So even though I am convinced that the police became judge, jury and executioner, I support them and everything. And as far as I'm concerned, Jamaica need more Braetons. Will innocent people be dispatched by the police in the same fashion? Yes. But at least 9 out of 10 who they dispatch, I can guarantee you, will be gunmen. And that will set us way ahead of the game. Because preemptive strike is what? So I hear you have another guy and another guy who have another channel called Jamaica Young Police, and he has always said he believes in preemptive strike, and so do I. As far as I'm concerned, once your name starts ring up at police station and people start taking him to the police station regularly, and the police know who you are and have been getting the complaints and have the evidence might not be good enough to go to court. But if the evidence is good and the policemen are convinced that you are guilty of those charges, they should just come and just knock your door, as I said, 2 a.m. You shouldn't live past 2 a.m. any night. In fact, you see, when the men were killed, the next day, the lady who had been shot in the shoulder in the Above Rocks area, at the same time when they had taken Constable Dwight Gibson's gun after dispatching him, she was taken to the Spanish Town morgue, I think the Spanish Town Hospital's morgue, to look at the men, and she could identify the one who shot her. She did identify him. So it's a fact that these were Christmites, and it's a fact that this was, and what they did, you just kill a whole cell. You have neutralized a cell of evil people, and so be it. So guys, thank you for watching. Like, share, leave a comment below, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.